know what really hacks me off? It's when people say, you're too young, or you're not experienced enough for that. And then it's the exact same people, literally overnight like this, who are saying, oh, aren't you a bit old for that now? Or if you really wanted to do that, you should have started 5 years ago. What a load of just won me out today. Let me put my I'm in business hat on. You ready for this? Musicians and creative people have to develop a strong, positive mindset, a strong mental attitude, more than a lot of people, more than most people, because there are a lot of people out there who will not take you or your dreams seriously. And there is an abundance of people out there who are looking for an excuse to tear creative people down, to try and make creative people and musicians feel like they're gonna fail no matter what they do. When I think about why so many people put creative people down, I've come up with a couple of theories of my own. There's a fair amount of people who go through life and their life takes unexpected twists and turns, and then they end up not living out their dreams that they had when they were younger, and then they see other people going for these dreams and they just want to tear them down because they couldn't do it themselves. And it sounds really harsh, but I know that this happens. The important thing about this is just to not take this kind of energy on board, and to remember something that I always say, and that is that whatever someone says, it says more about themselves than it says about you. Now, some people point to the many people who are musicians and creatives who haven't made it in the music industry, and therefore they see them as failed. Some people even give you a percentage, like, I don't know, some kind of like 99% of musicians fail in the music industry. Now, I'm not saying that this isn't correct, that a large group of musicians and creatives never make it a career, but there are a couple of massive things, pieces of perspective, to stop you taking these facts as the whole picture. First of all, not all creatives and musicians actually want to make it as a career. Secondly, lots of people think that they want something as a career, but actually don't make any effort, don't make a plan, don't learn skills, and don't take the action that is required or the sacrifice that is required to make their dreams a reality. And other people don't use the tools that are available to them. There are some great musicians who just refuse to learn about how the world works today, who refuse to learn about the internet and social media and how to connect with an audience and how to market themselves and brand themselves. And that's inevitably gonna hold them back. It just is. Because if you're genuinely serious about having a creative career as a musician or any other kind of creative, then using these tools is a massive asset, but it requires you to learn about them, and not everyone will do that. Now, there are some people who will go, okay, well, what about the people that do make a lot of effort? Some of them aren't successful. Well, I'm gonna use an analogy here. So I used to work for Damien Keys, who's a music industry expert, and he used to say something along the lines of, people will say they want to go to London, and then they'll get on the motorway that takes them to Wales. What it boils down to is you can make all the effort you want, but if you're going in the wrong direction, you're never going to achieve your goals. If you're taking massive action and none of that action is actually moving the needle closer to where you want to get, then it's not really a surprise that you're not going to get to the destination that you wanted to get to. Although it's amazing how many people think like this. The other thing with effort is you can make the effort to get in front of all the right people, but if you don't have the skills to back up your effort, then it's going to fall on deaf ears. So it really starts with you and knowing what you want, knowing where you want to get to, and then creating a plan and effort that matches that, which lines up with that. Without that, of course, you're not going to achieve your dreams, because you need to have a goal, and then you have to make steps towards that goal. Dreams can be made when you're sleepwalking, but life happens when you take action. I say this so much, but creatives live and breathe off the skill sets that they have, because it's not just about the art, it's also about connecting with people and finding people that are going to buy into what you do. But one great thing that we have, which we didn't even have when I was a child, is that we have the internet in our pockets, and it allows us to connect and collaborate with people worldwide, all over the world. Billions of people at your fingertips. And this is something that we shouldn't take for granted, because just a generation ago, a generation before me, they didn't have this until they were in their 40s, 50s, you know? I see so many people preaching about the amount of lack in their lives, but really what they lack is imagination. Because this, if you're using your noggin, you see the power that this has and the power that it has for your creative career. What I've learned over the years is that your actions today shape your tomorrow, and everything that you do today does have a knock-on effect, but also inaction shapes your tomorrow too. If there were opportunities you didn't take or you weren't prepared for, that changes the course of your future. I need my serious hat on again. I really think that if you're pursuing a creative career or a career in music, then you have to make it a priority. The reason that so many dreams fail is that people aren't honest with themselves about what the reality of living that dream actually looks like for them, and they're not open to the fact that their wants and needs might change. They don't do their research, they don't make a plan, they don't build the skills that they need, they leave opportunities on the table, they don't say no to things that are not right for them or the direction that they want to go in. It's not solely that they fail because they are a musician or a creative. And I think that the sooner people are honest about this and stop blaming everything under the sun rather than actually looking at the lives that they're designing for themselves and actually talk about the real reasons that people aren't getting where they want to go or where they think they want to go, the quicker the better. And on the subject of excuses, reasons become excuses when you don't take action towards a solution. And there's always a solution. But the question is whether the sacrifice that it requires is worth it to you. And only you can answer that question. For every situation that you might find yourself in, there is someone from a similar background, financial position, time constraints, family responsibilities, who has managed to make a living doing what they love. Why shouldn't you be one of them? But you've got to be clear about your goals. You have to know what you want in order to know what direction you should be going in and what steps you should be taking, the skills you should be learning, etc., etc. Knowing what you want and what you don't want is half the battle. And once you're clear about how to get there, you have to look at the reality of what that means for you and the sacrifices that it might require. If you're not happy with making that priority, or you're not happy with the sacrifices, the time, the financial commitment it's going to take, that does not mean that you failed because you're a musician or failed because you're a creative. It means that you chose something else to be a priority, and that's not always a bad thing. In fact, sometimes that makes people happier in life. You might look at it as though you failed in one area when really you've just chosen to succeed in another area. And no one should be judging people for changing their mind or choosing to prioritize something that makes them happy in life. We're all just trying to pursue happiness in life, aren't we? But people have got to stop tearing down other people who are willing to prioritize these creative endeavors and who are willing to sacrifice things that maybe other people are not. Unfortunately, I don't see the negativity going anywhere anytime soon. In the meantime, let's look after our mental health. And let's learn as much as possible. And let's get really clear about where we want to go and how we're going to get there. We have got to stop believing in other people's opinions if they are totally unfounded or if they're grounded in bitterness. You can't let the doubters get you down. I hope this helps. To subscribe, check out this one. I'll see you in the next one. Music. Or a derivative.